Cheating doesn't always look like a scene from a movie. It isn't always lipstick on a collar or a dramatic confession in the pouring rain. Sometimes it's much quieter. It can be a tiny, almost invisible crack that slowly splinters until the entire foundation of a life is shattered. I know because I watched it happen. I saw it wreck the life of someone I once loved, and in the process, it nearly wrecked me too. From subtle text messages that just felt off, to the full-blown emotional affair that ultimately unraveled my ex's world, I've seen firsthand how different kinds of infidelity can poison a relationship from the inside out. I haven't just been a victim of it. I've been a witness to the catastrophic fallout, the long-term consequences that most people never see coming. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 7 types of infidelity I experienced and observed. My goal isn't to scare you, but to arm you. Welcome to Nightfall Narrative. We're here to give you the knowledge to recognize these signs, understand the damage they cause, and feel empowered to set the boundaries that will make sure you never have to live through the story I'm about to share. If that mission resonates with you, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you can join us for every deep dive. This isn't just about what's right or wrong. It's about understanding the mechanics of betrayal so you can protect your heart, your future, and your peace. Because trust, once it's broken, is a very difficult thing to rebuild, and some forms of cheating are designed to make sure it never can be. Let's start with the one that's often the most misunderstood, the most insidious, and the one that often serves as a gateway to all the others. The first type of cheating is maybe the most controversial because it operates in a gray area. It's called micro-cheating. These are the small, seemingly insignificant actions that might feel harmless on their own, but when they add up, they corrode the trust in a relationship like a slow-acting poison. Think of it as a death by 1,000 cuts. Each act might not be fatal, but together, they create a pattern of disrespect and secrecy that is undeniably a form of betrayal. I saw this start with my ex. It began with him liking a stream of suggestive photos of one particular woman on social media. When I brought it up, the response was a classic deflection. "It's just a like. It means nothing. You're being insecure." But it wasn't just a like. It was a small, public signal of attraction aimed at someone else. Then it escalated. He saved a female coworker's number under a man's name. His excuse: "She texts at all hours, and I just didn't want you to worry." But that single act of deception is the very definition of micro-cheating. He was intentionally hiding a communication line, creating a secret space that excluded me. Other examples of micro-cheating include consistently confiding in someone you're attracted to about your relationship problems, downplaying your relationship status to a new friend, or having ongoing, private jokes and conversations filled with flirty undertones. The key element is secrecy, and a level of emotional or flirtatious engagement that you know, deep down, would make your partner uncomfortable if they saw it. People who engage in micro-cheating are often looking for a quick hit of validation, a small ego boost from outside the relationship, because they might feel unappreciated within it. But the impact is far from minor. For the person on the receiving end, it creates a constant state of anxiety and self-doubt. You start to feel like you're going crazy, questioning your own perception. Is it really a big deal? Am I overreacting? This gaslighting is part of what makes micro-cheating so destructive. It doesn't just breach trust, it makes you question your own sanity for feeling hurt. It's the first step down a very slippery slope because it normalizes small deceptions, making bigger ones easier to justify later. The second type of cheating takes the secrecy of micro-cheating and blows it up in the digital world. This is digital or cyber infidelity. Today, an affair doesn't require secret motel meetings. It can happen right in your living room, on a device that's always within reach. This kind of infidelity involves secretive, romantically charged, or sexually explicit communication that happens online. It can be anything from sending persistent, flirty DMs and sexting to actively using dating apps while you're in a committed relationship. In my experience, my ex's micro-cheating was just the training ground for his eventual dive into full-blown cyber infidelity. The secret texts with his coworker soon morphed into late-night chats on an encrypted app. I remember the signs so clearly. His phone was suddenly glued to his hand, always face down on the table. He changed his passwords, claiming it was for security, and would often leave the room to take calls or answer. Texts. That constant, guarded behavior is a massive red flag. When a partner suddenly becomes hyperprotective of their devices, it's often because those devices hold a world they don't want you to see. Cyber infidelity is so damaging because it siphons off a huge amount of emotional and intimate energy from the primary relationship. Think about it. The time spent crafting the perfect flirty text, the thrill of waiting for a reply, the secret excitement of a connection no one else knows about. That is all energy that's being stolen from the person they promised to be committed to. Even if it never gets physical, the betrayal is profound. You're competing with a fantasy, a carefully curated digital persona that doesn't have to deal with the real-life struggles of a relationship. The person on the other end of the screen gets the witty, charming version of your partner, while you're left with the emotionally absent person sitting next to you on the couch. It's no surprise that recent surveys found that a majority of people consider maintaining secretive text conversations with an ex a form of cheating. The excuse that it's just online is a total fallacy. The emotions are real, the deception is real, and the damage to the relationship is absolutely real. This brings us to the third type, which many people, myself included, find even more painful than a physical affair. This is emotional infidelity. Emotional cheating happens when one partner forms a deep, intimate emotional bond with someone else, a bond that replaces the emotional connection they should be sharing with their significant other. It's about sharing your deepest fears, your biggest dreams, and your most vulnerable feelings with someone who isn't your partner. This is an affair of the heart. This was the chapter of my story that hurt the most. My ex's digital affair with his coworker wasn't just flirtatious banter, it evolved. He started confiding in her about his dissatisfaction with his job, his conflicts with his family, and eventually, his frustrations with our relationship. I found out later that he was telling her things he had never told me. She became his primary source of emotional support. When he had good news, he told her first. When he was having a bad day, she was the one he turned to. The signs of an emotional affair can be subtle but devastating. Your partner may become more distant and withdrawn, creating an emotional void in your relationship. They might constantly talk about this other person, mentioning their name in every other story. Or they might stop mentioning them completely, a dead giveaway that they know the connection has crossed a line. A classic sign is when your partner starts comparing you to this other person, either directly or implicitly. You might hear things like, "Sarah just gets it," or "Why can't you be more easygoing like her?" This is incredibly damaging to your self-esteem, making you feel inadequate and replaceable. The betrayal of an emotional affair cuts so deeply because it attacks the very soul of the relationship, emotional intimacy, and loyalty. It feels like the person you trusted most has given away a part of your shared life, a part that was supposed to be sacred. Research consistently shows that while men often report more distress over sexual infidelity, a clear majority of women find emotional infidelity more upsetting. It's a profound betrayal because it implies that you are no longer enough on an emotional level. And that is a wound that can take a very long time to heal. The fourth type is one that often gets overlooked, but can be just as destructive as financial infidelity. This is the act of being deceptive about money, like hiding purchases, lying about debt, keeping secret bank accounts, or making big financial decisions without telling your partner. While it might not involve another person romantically, it's a huge breach of trust that can sabotage a couple's shared goals and security. This was a parallel storyline in my ex's unraveling. As his other affairs took hold, so did his financial secrecy. The dinners, the gifts for his affair partner, the occasional hotel room, all of it had to be paid for. This showed up as unexplained expenses on his credit card statements. There were charges from restaurants I'd never been to and large cash withdrawals. When I'd ask, the answers were always vague. It was a work dinner, or I had to help out a friend. The lies just became more frequent and elaborate. Financial infidelity creates a massive power imbalance in a relationship. It shatters the idea that you are a team working towards a shared future. When one person is secretly racking up debt or spending shared money, they are making unilateral decisions that affect both of you. This can have devastating long-term consequences, destroying your ability to buy a house, save for retirement, or handle an emergency. The discovery often brings not just the pain of betrayal, but so a very real sense of fear and instability. You suddenly realize the future you thought you were building together was based on a lie. The feeling of being deceived is compounded by the stress of a financial crisis you didn't even know you were in. It's a betrayal that hits both the heart and the wallet, and the fallout can be incredibly difficult to clean up. We're about halfway through our list. If you're finding this breakdown helpful and appreciate these deep dives into the realities of relationships, please take a moment to subscribe to Nightfall Narrative. It helps us continue to create content that empowers you with knowledge. Now, let's move on to the fifth type, which is often dangerously misunderstood. The fifth type is what I call opportunistic infidelity. This is often framed as the one-time mistake or the it just happened scenario. It usually happens when someone, often fueled by alcohol or a unique situation like a business trip, engages in a physical act of cheating without much premeditation. They weren't necessarily looking for an affair, but they didn't resist the opportunity when it showed up. But while this might seem less severe than a long-term affair, that's a dangerous misconception. The "it just happened" excuse is almost always a lie. It didn't just happen. A series of choices led to that moment: the choice to have one more drink, the choice to go back to someone's hotel room, the choice to cross a physical boundary. It reflects a fundamental lack of respect for the relationship. It shows that, under the right circumstances, their commitment is disposable. In my ex's story, this type of infidelity was a feature, not a bug. After our breakup, I heard stories from mutual friends about his behavior. On work trips, he was known for being the last one at the bar, engaging in overly flirtatious behavior that would sometimes lead to a one-night stand. He would later express immense regret, not because he betrayed a partner, but because he risked getting caught. His sorrow was about the consequence, not the act, and that's a critical distinction. Someone who is truly remorseful is horrified by the pain they've caused. Someone who is just sorry they got caught is only worried about themselves. The damage from opportunistic infidelity is huge. It shatters the betrayed partner's sense of safety. You start to wonder, can I ever trust them when they go out? Can they handle a business trip without betraying me? It plants a seed of constant anxiety. It also reveals a partner's priorities. When given a choice between honoring their commitment and indulging a fleeting impulse, they chose the impulse. That knowledge is impossible to forget. While some relationships can survive a one-time mistake, it requires radical honesty and a deep look at why the opportunity was taken in the first place. Without that, it's not a one-time mistake. It's just the first time you found out. The sixth type is what most people think of when they hear the word cheating, the physical affair. This involves ongoing, repeated sexual or romantic physical contact with someone outside of the relationship. It can be purely physical, driven by lust without a deep emotional connection, or it can be part of a bigger romantic affair. Regardless, it is a profound violation of the physical intimacy and exclusivity at the core of a monogamous relationship. A physical affair is destructive on multiple levels. On a practical level, it introduces the risk of STIs, a violation that affects the betrayed partner's physical health. It can also lead to complications like an unplanned pregnancy, which tangles lives painfully and permanently. But the emotional damage is just as severe. The discovery of a physical affair often triggers a visceral reaction of shock, disgust, and humiliation. The person you shared your body with has shared that intimacy with someone else, and that can make you feel tainted and rejected. The signs of a physical affair are often more obvious than other forms of cheating. You might notice your partner is suddenly away from home more, with flimsy excuses like working late or going to the gym. There might be changes in your sex life, either a sudden drop in intimacy because their needs are being met elsewhere, or a surprising increase as they try to cover their tracks. My ex's friends told me that during his affairs, his schedule became erratic and impossible to pin down. He was always busy, but could never give concrete details. This avoidance is a classic sign that someone is living a double life. The aftermath of a physical affair is a landscape of shattered trust. The betrayed partner is often plagued by intrusive thoughts and images of the betrayal, a condition some refer to as post-infidelity stress disorder. You replay scenes in your head, torturing yourself with questions about the details. It's a traumatic experience that can lead to long-term anxiety, depression, and a deep-seated fear of being betrayed. Again. This leads us to the seventh and most destructive type, the full-blown romantic affair. This is the culmination of several other forms of infidelity. It combines the deep connection of an emotional affair with the intimacy of a physical one. The cheating partner isn't just having sex with someone else. They are essentially living a parallel life and building a new relationship. They are in love with another person. This is what ultimately wrecked my ex's life. His connection with his coworker wasn't just a dalliance, it became a full-fledged romance. They had their own routines, their own inside jokes, their own shared history. He was emotionally invested, physically intimate, and deeply entangled with her. This type of affair is the ultimate betrayal because the cheater is giving everything that should belong to their primary partner, their heart, their body, and their loyalty to someone else. A romantic affair is rarely a secret that can be kept forever. The lies become too many, the logistics too complicated. In my ex's case, the truth came out in a spectacular implosion that cost him everything. His partner found out, and the relationship ended immediately. But the consequences didn't stop there. Their mutual friends, who had been put in the awkward position of knowing or suspecting, felt betrayed and distanced themselves. His reputation at work suffered because the affair was with a colleague, creating a toxic environment. The long-term fallout was even worse. He lost his family's trust. He went through a costly and emotionally draining separation. The affair partner, who was also in a relationship, faced her own consequences, and their love did not survive the wreckage they had created. He was left alone, isolated, and with a reputation for being untrustworthy. This is the ultimate destruction that cheating causes. It's not just about one relationship ending. It's a domino effect of loss. You lose your partner, your social circle, your financial stability, and most importantly, your integrity. He didn't just lose a relationship. He lost the respect of almost everyone in his life, and he lost his own self-respect in the process. Hearing all of this might feel overwhelming, and that's completely understandable. My intention isn't to leave you feeling hopeless, but to show you that these patterns are recognizable. If any of these stories resonated with you, or if you've seen these patterns in your own life, we want to hear from you in the comments below. At Nightfall Narrative, we believe sharing our experiences is how we learn from each other and realize we aren't alone. And if you found this valuable and want more content that isn't afraid to explore the truth, please subscribe to Nightfall Narrative and turn on notifications. Your voice is a part of our community. So you recognize the signs. What now? The first step is to trust your gut. If you feel that something is wrong, you're probably right. That anxiety, that doubt, that feeling of being kept at a distance, that's all data. Don't let anyone convince you that you're just being paranoid. The next step is to open a conversation, but you have to be strategic. Accusations will only lead to defensiveness and more lies. Instead, try to express how your partner's behavior is affecting you. For example, instead of saying, "I know you're texting someone else," you could say, "I feel insecure and disconnected when I see you're constantly on your phone and hiding the screen from me. Can we talk about what's going on?" This frames the issue around your feelings and the relationship, which is harder to argue with. From there, you need to set clear boundaries. Healthy relationships require explicit agreements about what is and isn't okay. You and your partner need to define what cheating means for both of you. Is flirting on social media okay? Is having secret emotional talks with an ex acceptable? You can't afford to make assumptions. You have to have these conversations. If your partner is unwilling to respect those boundaries, that is a powerful answer in itself. If infidelity has already happened, the path to repair is steep. The unfaithful partner must take 100% responsibility. No excuses. It requires complete transparency, handing over passwords, answering all questions honestly, and cutting off all contact with the affair partner. It often requires professional help, like couples counseling, to fix the underlying issues. For the betrayed partner, your priority is your own safety and sanity. This might mean getting tested for STIs if there was a physical affair. It means leaning on a support system, friends, or a therapist to process the trauma. It's crucial to understand you are not obligated to forgive or stay. Deciding to leave is not a failure. It is an act of self-preservation. You have to ask yourself, has this happened before? Is my partner genuinely sorry and doing the work, or am I signing up for a repeating cycle of pain staying in a relationship where trust is repeatedly violated can cause severe long-term damage to your mental health. My ex's story is a cautionary tale, but it's not the only possible outcome. I share it to show that cheating isn't a simple act with simple consequences. It's a complex web of choices that unravels lives. It begins with small compromises of integrity and can end in total devastation. But the most important lesson I learned through all of this is that you have power. You have the power to see the signs. You have the power to demand respect. You have the power to set boundaries and to walk away when they're not honored. And you have the power to heal and build a future, with or without your partner, that is founded on trust, integrity, and self-respect. You can't control another person's choices, but you can control your own. You can choose not to tolerate deception. You can choose to honor your own worth. And you can choose to build a life where you feel secure, valued, and truly loved. Thank you for listening.